My fault too, chat, man. This video is titled "What Happened to Every Forgotten SpongeBob Character?" My SpongeBob Universe. Let's go.
From characters' voice actors unfortunately dying, to being written out of the show, there are over 10 characters who have completely stopped appearing in SpongeBob. And today, we're gonna go over what happened to all of them, starting with Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, and they have a super sad story for why they stopped appearing, with the voice actors that played them dying in real life. But to get some context, let's look at the last episode they appeared in 2012, and this episode was called Super Evil Aquatic Villain Team Up Is Go, which is a crazy title. This episode is a memorable SpongeBob episode that brings us back to some of the show's most iconic characters for one final adventure. It begins with Plankton once again trying to steal the Krabby Patty secret formula. This time, instead of going at it alone, he brings in a partner to help him carry out the plan, and that partner is Man Ray, a powerful supervillain and longtime rival of Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. Plankton convinces Man Ray that he can rule the fast food world by defeating the Krusty Krab and stealing the secret formula.
Then together we will steal the formula, crush Mr. Krabs, and rule the world!
At first, everything seems to be going their way. Man Ray brings the muscle, Plankton brings the brains, and together they look unstoppable. But things quickly spiral out of control. As soon as Man Ray tastes a Krabby Patty, he becomes completely addicted. He falls in love with the food and completely forgets about the mission. Instead of helping Plankton, he eats non-stop until he's too bloated to move. Plankton grows more and more frustrated as their plan falls apart. His evil scheme turns into a total failure, and he is stuck trying to manage a partner who only cares about burgers. SpongeBob sees what is happening and realizes he can't stop it on his own, so he turns to the only heroes he's ever had in Bikini Bottom to keep the villains in check: Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. The problem is,
I never even noticed them not being in the show anymore. Their last appearance was in 2012. I feel like no one said anything about it.
that they're retired. They live in a retirement home and have stepped away from hero work, so SpongeBob tries everything to get their attention. He sneaks into their retirement home, disguises himself,
Ew.
and begs for help. No matter what he does, the two heroes home.
Wait.
So SpongeBob tries
Wait. I gotta see that again. Wait.
everything to get their attention. He
ew,
sneaks
bro.
into their retirement home, disguises
Ew, chat. What is that? That is gross, bro. Why did his pants shrivel up too?
himself, and
That's
begs for
nasty,
help.
bro.
No matter what he does, the
And I'm not gonna lie, that's how retirement homes are, bro. You could just walk in there if you look like you about to visit somebody. They don't even be caring, bro. No kind of security for the old people, man. It don't even matter, man.
two heroes refuse to return to
That's
action.
crazy.
Just when it seems like all hope is gone, Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy then arrive. They march into the Krusty Krab and take down Man Ray in seconds. Plankton then is left with a giant food bill, and the chaos is finally over. SpongeBob is thrilled, and the heroes head back into retirement like nothing ever happened. What makes this episode so important is the fact that it marks the final appearance of Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy with newly recorded voice lines. This is the last time they appeared as full characters with a role in the plot. Not long after this episode, the actors behind them passed away. Ernest Borgnine, the voice of Mermaid Man, died in 2012, and Tim Conaway, who voiced Barnacle Boy, passed away in 2019. Their deaths meant the characters could not return in the same way. Rather than recast them, the creators chose to retire the characters completely. It was a respectful choice that honored both the voice actors and the roles they've played for so many years. There is one more episode where Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy show up. It's called Pat Man, and it aired in season 9. In that episode, Patrick pretends to be a superhero,
I am Patrick Man!
and the two legendary characters briefly appear. However, their voices are not newly recorded. The lines used are pulled from older episodes. The appearance is small and is meant as a tribute rather than a return to action. That's why Super Evil Aquatic Villains Team Up and Go stands out as their true final episode. After this, they were never involved in another plot. In later episodes, they sometimes appear in the background. They might show up as toys, posters, or decorations.
Wait. Maybe this is me just being, too, I want to say spoiled. They couldn't use AI to make their voices, like, I don't know. You couldn't find another voice actor to act these parts. And no, they had to physically be there. Can't find. They didn't have to really be on set. All you needed was their voices. Now, maybe they couldn't use AI because I don't know when AI came out. I feel like it's mad new. But no one else on Earth sounded like one of these guys? That's crazy. Come on now. Lazy.
But they never speak again. The show made the decision to leave the characters alone and let their legacy stay untouched. Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy had their final moment, and after that, they slowly disappeared. Never.
You know what's messed up about this? I bet you if the person that voiced act SpongeBob dies, they ain't gonna stop making SpongeBob. They're gonna keep making SpongeBob, right? And he's the main draw to the show. It's because they're not that profitable. So ain't no reason to pay somebody else. Because the actors that they had to pay died. Less money they got to spend now. It's messed up.
Having a new speaking role in the show again. People still remembered them, but sadly, everyone cannot live forever. And they aren't the only ones. The next character who used to be important, but over time were left behind, is Man Ray. Man Ray used to be Bikini Bottom's most dangerous enemy. He made his first appearance in the episode Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 3, where he is frozen inside the Mermalair and kept as a trophy, but SpongeBob and Patrick accidentally unfroze him. Right away, he tried to escape and return to his evil ways, but instead of fighting superheroes, he was stuck being rehabilitated by SpongeBob and Patrick. They tried to teach him how to be a good person. This gave us the famous wallet scene, where Man Ray keeps getting shocked by a tickle bill every time he refuses to take the wallet he says isn't his.
You dimwit! Take back your wallet or I'll rip your arms off!
The episode showed how SpongeBob's weirdness could even defeat the most serious villain. He returned in Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 5. This time, he teamed up with Dirty Bubble to form an evil group, but SpongeBob and the Bikini Bottom created their own superhero team and stopped them in the dumbest way possible. Man Ray lost again, and his final appearance was in Super Evil Aquatic Villains Team Up as Go. This time, he worked with Plankton to steal the Krabby Patty secret formula, but he got distracted and ate too many patties so he couldn't move. That was the last time he had a real role, and after that, he's kind of faded away. When Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy were retired from the show, Man Ray disappeared too. His story only made sense when they were around. Without them, he had no real purpose. As expected as Man Ray's disappearance was, there is one character who was completely swept under the rug. Flats the Flounder. Flats was different from your usual SpongeBob character. In the show, he only had one goal, kicking SpongeBob's butt. He was introduced in season 3 in the episode called The Bully, where SpongeBob walks into boating school and meets a new student. Flats seemed friendly at first, but then out of nowhere, he says he's gonna kick SpongeBob's butt for no reason. That's the entire plot. SpongeBob spends the whole episode trying to avoid getting his butt kicked. It turns into one long chase. SpongeBob hides and panics, and even tries asking Patrick for help, but nothing works. Flats keeps showing up everywhere. At home, at work, and even inside of SpongeBob's dreams. Flats finally punches SpongeBob over and over, but because SpongeBob is a sponge, it does nothing. Flats gets tired and falls over, and SpongeBob wins by doing
I remember that. SpongeBob got in trouble by Mrs. Puff, and then Mrs. Puff goes, "I'm gonna kick your butt." You need to fire that teacher, man.
Absolutely nothing. That was Flats' one big episode. And after that, he quietly disappeared. He made a few silent background cameos in later seasons, but never got another speaking role. Maybe the writers felt his story was finished. He had one joke and one job, but he did it well, and now most fans forget he ever existed. But whatever happened to Grandma SquarePants? Grandma SquarePants was one of those characters who felt important at first, but slowly disappeared over time. She is SpongeBob's loving and sweet grandmother. She lives in a cozy little house and always treats SpongeBob like a child. Cookies, milk, kisses on the forehead. To her, he is still her baby boy. She first appears in the episode Grandma's Kisses from season 2. In that episode, SpongeBob is excited to visit her, but when
This is a really wholesome episode, and everybody was just being like weird. Everybody being weird about it in front, bro. Like, he got kissing his grandma, and everybody started like treating him bad. That's crazy.
Squidward and the other adults at the Krusty Krab laugh at him for having a kiss on his forehead. SpongeBob gets embarrassed, so he tries to act grown up, but deep down, the entire time he misses the attention. Pet Sitter Pat from season 8 was her last speaking appearance before retirement. She shows up in a flashback or a background scene.
Why go home when I have Grandma's down-home folk remedies right here?
And she speaks once or twice, but she never got another major role until recently, in the episode Don't Make Me Laugh from season 14, where Grandma SquarePants came out of retirement just to have one more role. But my theory for why she took such a long break from the show is because SpongeBob stopped needing that side in his life, and as the show got louder and faster, there wasn't much space for quiet family moments. Grandma SquarePants became one of the many characters who got left behind. It's really sad to see a character let go, especially someone this sweet, but that's just how the show works. But another character who was seemingly let go is Patchy the Pirate and Potty the Pirate. Patchy the Pirate.
That was classic. I think that was classic. Now, I noticed when they stopped showing Patchy. He had his own segments. I was there for that. That was kind of messed up.
Was more than just a character. He was SpongeBob's biggest fan.
I can't believe it! More SpongeBob!
He lived in a small house in Incayo, California. His house was full of SpongeBob toys, posters, drawings, and random pirate stuff. He lived in the real world and talked right to the viewers watching the show. With him was Potty the Pirate. Potty was a talking puppet who flew around and always made fun of Patchy. Patchy was happy and full of energy, and Potty was just rude and wild. Like I'm talking, they fought in every scene, but they always stayed together. Their first appearance was in the season 2 Christmas special. Patchy hosted the special from in his home and introduced the first Christmas in Bikini Bottom. He tried to throw a party while Potty kept making a mess. It was silly and fun. That episode helped fans feel like they were a part of something bigger. It made SpongeBob feel like more than a cartoon after that, because Patchy and Potty showed up for a lot more episodes. They were in The Sponge Who Could Fly, Party Pooper Pants, Atlantis SquarePants, and Truth or Square. When the show had a special, they were usually a part of it, but over time, they started showing up less and less. Patchy's stories were cut shorter, Potty stopped talking as much, and the wild energy just wasn't the same. One possible reason for this is that Tom Kenny, the voice of SpongeBob, also played Patchy. As the show kept growing, filming Patchy scenes became harder. The show also changed styles. Older episodes were slower and weirder. Newer ones moved faster and left less room for live action parts.
Ew. Yo, look at Patrick, y'all. Ew, bro. Why you got bumps on him like that? Ew, bro.
Their last real appearance was in SpongeBob's Big Birthday Blowout. Patchy showed up to celebrate the 20th anniversary in 2021. He talked to fans, went on a fun journey, and helped bring back that classic SpongeBob feeling. Potty was there too, still flying around and causing problems. Now, they don't appear much anymore, but you won't see them in spin-offs or new seasons. Many younger fans don't even know who they are. They've become forgotten parts of the show, but fans who have watched the earlier seasons still remember them. Patchy and Potty made the show feel personal, and most of all, they made every special feel important. But next, whatever happened to the French narrator? The French narrator has been with SpongeBob since the very beginning. He never shows his face, but is the voice of some of the most familiar sounds in the show.
A few minutes later.
And
I forgot about him. They never show like his face, nothing like that, but he used to always just come in like, good lagoon. What a wonderful day to be. It just randomly just set the scene for us, right? Dang, I forgot all about that. SpongeBob changed so much since then. They cut so much of the budget then. They don't got to pay nobody with the voice actors.
Know exactly who he is. He usually starts the episodes with short lines like,
The sea. So fascinating.
or,
Here we find SpongeBob once again stalking the wild jellyfish.
he pops in to set the scene, explains what's happening, or skips
2,000
ahead in
years
time.
later.
He doesn't interrupt the story, he adds to
That's
it, like a
iconic.
quiet guide walking us through the underwater world. The French narrator is voiced by Tom Kenny, the same person who voices SpongeBob and Patchy the Pirate. His voice is meant to sound like a real-life ocean explorer. That's why he speaks with a strong French accent. He makes the show show feel like a silly nature documentary. These quick time cards that he said started to become
These are iconic. Like, so iconic. These will never go out of style ever. Somebody could probably create a whole business just on these alone, bro. This is crazy, bro. How could you not have that narration no more? This is like iconic stuff, man. Come on now.
a part of SpongeBob's comedy style. Other shows copied them, fans still repeat them, and they've become a part of meme culture. Even though he's so important, the French narrator never got a full story. He's never had his own episode, although he really doesn't need one, and his job is to support the show, not star in it. Over time, his voice started showing up less. Some newer episodes skip the narration or use different time cards. Because of that, the French narrator slowly faded back into the background. His last known appearance was in the 2023 special, The Title Zone, where he showed up in live-action segments and helped guide the multi-universe story. Since then, nothing. No time cards, no narration, no little comments, just silence in Bikini Bottom. That's why, even if fans still recognize the voice, the French narrator still counts as a forgotten character. He was never gone in name, but the show stopped using him in the way they used to. And without him guiding us through Bikini Bottom, something always feels a little bit off. And even if people don't talk about him much now, his voice helped shape SpongeBob into what it became. And he was the quiet heart of the show. But someone's voice wasn't so quiet, and yet still managed to disappear. The Chocolate Lady only appeared in one episode, but made a big impact.
We didn't
she
need
was
her to be in
strange,
that episode,
loud,
though, man.
and unforgettable.
Man, come on, man. We ain't need her to be in a lot of episodes, man. She played her role. She did it great. All she had to just say, what are they selling? They're selling chocolates. That's all we needed her to say, man. What you want her to do, man? What you want her to do? Now this a reach. Now, I'm trying to let him get his shit off, but this is kind of a reach, bro. Like, yo, she did what she had to do. It's cool, bro. It's cool, man.
Most fans don't even know her name, but they
keep
remember her voice. All she did was say one word over and over again. She showed up in the season 3 episode Chocolate with Nuts. In that episode, SpongeBob and Patrick decide to sell chocolate bars in order to get rich.
Chocolate bar?
That's a great idea, Pat. We'll be traveling chocolate bar salesmen.
They go door to door convincing people to buy them. However, when they knock on her door, she opens it and starts screaming. Her eyes go wide and she yells the word
Chocolate!
over and over. She never says why she loves chocolate so much. She just screams and runs after them. That whole scene became one of the most famous parts of the entire show, and the Chocolate Lady never appeared again. She's a great example of how SpongeBob could make even the smallest characters stick, and all it took was one crazy scream and she became a legend in the fandom. But last but not least, there's a character so forgotten, yet he's had a ton of major roles in the show. King Neptune was once one of the most powerful characters in SpongeBob. He ruled the sea with magic, lightning, and a booming voice.
That's cap. I'm not gonna lie. Let me say why it's cap. They just dropped a whole video game, which I bought and I'm playing, where King Neptune is versus who's the evil the evil pirate guy, man. Anyway, you know what I mean. So, Patchy the pirate? No, that's not him. Point is, they got a whole game with King Neptune out right now. 1. 2, he's in like all the major SpongeBob movies. Can't front. At least say something about him. And 3, he's definitely in. He was in the new movie that just came out, actually, too. Yeah. So, no, he hasn't been forgotten. This is Cap.
He's supposed to be the god of the ocean, the one that everyone feared and respected, but now he's barely remembered. He first appeared in the season 1 episode, Neptune's Spatula. In that, SpongeBob pulls a golden spatula from a grease bucket at the Fry Cook Museum. The crowd thinks that means that he's the chosen one, the new royal Fry Cook. King Neptune shows up angry and proud. He refuses to believe a small Fry Cook like SpongeBob could ever take his place, so Neptune challenges challenges SpongeBob to a cook-off. He makes hundreds of burgers with magic and speed, and in the same time, SpongeBob only makes one, with love and care. In the end, SpongeBob's single patty is better than all of his. Neptune loses and gets humbled. It's a funny and surprising way to introduce a big godlike character. Later, Neptune came back in the first SpongeBob movie. This time, he looked totally different. In the movie, he was bald and wore a green robe. He had a short temper and zapped everyone who annoyed him. He portrayed a big role in the story, sending SpongeBob and Patrick on their mission to get his stolen crown. His daughter Mindy also helped him along the way. Even though he was important in the movie, his design
Anybody not say Mindy is another character too, because nobody cared about her either.
confused fans. He didn't look or act the same as before. Some people thought he was a different character, even though they shared the same name. In later interviews, the creator said the movie version was meant to be a new version or a reimagination, not the exact same Neptune from the show. After the movie, King Neptune barely appeared again. He showed up in small cameos though, like background paintings and statues. His character became more of a symbol than a real part of the story. One reason he was forgotten is because the creators really just couldn't fit him into the show. The show focused more on simple stories, neighborhood problems, or issues with the Krusty Krab. A powerful god character really didn't have a place in the average episode. Another reason though is that he kept changing. His voice, design, and personality were different almost every time. That made it hard for fans to connect with him. He never had a clear role or story arc that stuck around. These days, King Neptune barely shows up. Aside from the occasional cameo, he's no longer a part of the main cast or important to the stories. Most new fans didn't even realize he used to be a big deal. He was once a major part of the SpongeBob universe, a ruler with magic power, but over time, he turned into a background character with no real place in the show. Still, the few times he did appear gave us some great moments. The cook-off with SpongeBob, the stolen crown adventure, and his loud, dramatic entrances. He might not be completely gone, but in a show that once gave him center stage, Neptune's glory days are definitely behind him.
I feel like that wasn't a bad video. That wasn't a bad video, man. SpongeBob Universe, that was not a bad video, but you totally reached on us crazy. That was a reach. Most of those characters nobody care about, and a few of them are so old that they low-key don't even matter at all. You feel me? And Barnacle Boy dying and, Mermaid Man dying, that ain't got nothing to do with them not being used no more. Those characters just wasn't that important, bro. Nobody cared that much at all. You know how big it could have been if SpongeBob had superhero characters that they could sell action figures off of? Nobody is there for that. They're there to see the sponge, man. That's really it. But if you want to watch another video like this, maybe watch one of these or one of those. Probably not going to watch more videos from this channel again. This video, I think 4 out of 10, not gonna lie. But see y'all later on YouTube, man. We can go to the next one for Twitch, but on YouTube, holla at y'all later.